recorded by Big Brother. Hare Krishna, look out. All right. Let's share Bhagavad Gita. Now we're on text. Yeah, this is correct. This is where we left off yesterday. We left off on text 34. Is that right? Text 34, and beginning text 35. So again, we're hearing about the manifestations in this world and in the other worlds, the heavenly realms, different manifestations and how they indicate Krishna. They're indicative of the power of Krishna. So the opulence of the absolute, Vibhuti Yoga. Okay. So Sahachari Mother she has her hand raised.
Yes.
Well done, Hare Krishna. You beat Modern Mongol to it.
Okay.
You can go second.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's ready? You're all ready?
Text 35.
Bhagavad Gita for the next hour. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Text 35. Brhat-sama tata samnam Gayatri chandasam aham masanam margashiroham ritunam kusumakara. Of the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brhat-sama, and of poetry I am the Gayatri. Of months I am Margashira, November and December, and of seasons I am flower-bearing spring. Purport. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas, he is the Sama Veda. The Sama Veda is rich with beautiful songs played by the various demigods. One of those songs is the Brhat-sama, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry, rhyme, and meter are not written whimsically. As in much modern poetry, amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam because the Gayatri mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. The mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri mantra. The Gayatri mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed on from him in disciplic succession. The month of November, December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the fields at that time and the people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers on trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, and it is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thank you.
Okay. So, any immediate curiosities or questions here? We mentioned before about the Sama Veda. And I would love to hear the melody of the Brhat-sama. Interesting, it's chanting at midnight. Must be for a specific ritualistic ceremony. Brhat-sama. If anyone knows the Brhat-sama or can sing it for us.
I never knew it's November and December they collecting grains.
Yeah, this is what we're told here. Those, yeah, does that sound correct? Those are used to Indian climate. So usually done in that time of year.
Yes, Murli Prabhu.
Yeah, November, December.
Yeah.
November, December.
That's where we have this Pongal festival, which is the festival of harvest in January.
Oh, okay. What's it called? Pongal?
Pongal. the festival of harvest.
Okay, we have an equivalent of that in Christian culture as well. There is, So the festival means that you offer the grains to the Lord, I should imagine.
Yeah, the crops are yielded at that time. So they bring an offer to the lordships.
Yes, it's a big festive occasion. I know we have our farm here in Europe. We have a farm in Hungary, and they make a big occasion of the gathering of the grains from the field, and everyone takes part. The bulls obviously are doing the ploughing, and then all the children come and everyone's taking part. Yeah. It's sorry. And the Gayatri mantra. We do a course on the Gayatri mantra. Some of you may have attended that. So among poetry and the Gayatri, Prabhupada's mentioned a few things here. The Gayatri mantra is specially meant for God realization. So there's different interpretations of that Gayatri mantra. But the Gayatri itself is a meter, actually. It includes particular words. So there are different Gayatri mantras. We chant the Brahma Gayatri mantra. Yeah, there's other Gayatri mantras which one can worship. There's a Gayatri mantra for Radharani. For example, there's a Gayatri mantra for Panchatattva. There's a Gayatri mantra for Tulsi Devi. And it will include the words Dhimahi. Devasya, Dhimahi, which means I meditate upon. Excuse me. So we chant the Brahma Gayatri, which is technically a Vedic mantra. And as you know, those who chant the Gayatri mantras, we have other mantras that we chant as well, which is not technically Gayatri. They are Pancharatrika mantras. Yeah. We could give a whole seminar on this. But any questions about the Gayatri?
But children, when they get initiated, let's say in Gurukul, when they get a danda, they get a kind of Gayatri, but not the Gayatri mantra when you get from your guru. Is it true?
Yeah, generally they will be given the Brahma Gayatri at the age of 11 or so. Is it 11? Or perhaps younger? Yeah, as far as I know, they just get the Gayatri mantra, the Brahma Gayatri, which is the first one now we chant. And it's got quite a deep meaning. It's got a deep meaning for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It kind of directs the meditation towards Radha and Krishna for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that first Gayatri mantra. Yeah, the Brahma Gayatri. It's directing because the Srimad Bhagavatam, as mentioned, is a commentary upon the Gayatri. Yeah, it's a natural commentary on the Gayatri mantra. So the essence of the Bhagavatam is the 10th canto, the essence of which is Krishna's relationship with Radha and Krishna. So for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, ultimately, the Brahma Gayatri is a meditation on Radha, Krishna, and Vrindavan. It's quite technical, but that's in essence. Okay. Okay. Anything else from here?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I please ask a small clarification?
Yeah, go on. I'm just looking at the purple. Again, something's coming. Yeah.
It says of all the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brhat-sama. Now,
Yeah.
Why is he mentioned particularly Sama Veda and not any of the other Vedas? Is it because it's the most prominent one?
Because it's rich with beautiful songs.
Okay, so that's
celebrated in that regard. I
Okay.
think I sang a little bit of Sama Veda last time we came across, last time we discussed it. So the Sama Veda is the same mantras of the Vedas, but in the form that's sung.
Okay.
And
Okay.
during a Vedic sacrifice, there's different roles. There's 4 priests that will generally take part in a Vedic sacrifice. And the Gayatri, there's one name for one priest who, no, actually each of the priests will chant a specific Veda. And one of the priests will be chanting the Sama Veda, one of the priests, yeah. He will be expert. So Brahmins will be expert in different Veda and the chanting of the different Vedas. So one would study and memorize one Veda, or some would memorize all Vedas. Some would memorize 3, so they're called Tri-Vedis, and then Chaturvedi. Yeah, some will specialize in one Veda. So, yeah, the Veda, the Sama Veda, if you hear it chanted, it's very beautiful. Yeah, especially when the number of Brahmins are chanting it in the same meter. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
Gayatri, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I'm Margasirsa, November, December, and I'm season, I'm flower bearing spring. Yeah. Now I guess we kind of call this summer, but from an Indian perspective, it's just like spring. Yeah. All right, so Krishna is represented like that here. Sama Veda, Brhat-sama. I think I'm going to look online after this today and look if I can find the Brhat-sama being sung. I'm sure it's there somewhere. All right, so let's look at 36, Madhu Mangoku. You can read through that.
Thank you. Dyutam chalayatam asmi tejas tejasvinam jayosmi vyavasayosmi sattvam sattvavatam aham. Translation: I'm also the gambling of cheats and of the splendid. I am the splendor. I am victory. I am adventure. And I am the strength of the strong. Purport: there are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme, and therefore presents Krishna. As the supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one side, it is all sides, sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising and most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous, and among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating. No one can surpass him in splendor. No one can surpass him in victory. No one can surpass him in enterprise. And no one can surpass him in strength. Nice.
So quite beautiful purple by Srila Prabhupada. Might be quite intriguing because gambling is one of the principles of a religion. Yeah. So we follow specific virtues, and one of them is no gambling. But here it said, I'm also the gambling of cheats. Yeah. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme. And therefore, it represents Krishna. So that means we can gamble?
No, that's a chance. Everyone gambles on planet Earth thinking they have eternal life and enjoyment. Like they will be eternal, enjoying here without needing Krishna, and then they all gamble. Try their luck, said differently.
Yeah, it reminds me of a statement Prabhupada said, you just give this life to Krishna and see what happens. He speaks about gambling. You just gamble your life, give to Krishna, Give this life to Krishna and just see what happens. Prabhupada speaks about gambling in that context, you know. And we have the Mahabharata. Gambling plays, there's a major scene in the Mahabharata, isn't it, which we all know. But here, Krishna could be more deceitful than any man, than any mere man. Yeah.
It's because men without knowledge, it's very easy to be fooled and gambled. Like we can call it like that, fooled, gambled.
Say again? I missed the first part.
But people without knowledge,
People without knowledge.
they like to be fooled. So it's like a game in a way till you wake up and you say, oh, I had enough of this. So then you go and look for Krishna or look for knowledge. And then slowly you start not being fooled anymore.
Yeah, how's that connected here to gambling?
I don't know,
Good point. It's a good point.
it just comes to my mind. Without knowledge, everyone around us is just fooled in a way by the three gunas, which they're playing. Maya is playing nicely with everyone. And somehow it's like a gamble. Till
Yes, it's a gamble that you are the loser. Yeah. So gambling is one of sometimes it's quite intriguing. Gambling, we have no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. You know, sometimes the question, perhaps I'll ask the question, what's the problem with gambling? How does that affect the religious principles? Why is gambling a vow that we make? I can understand the other, well, we can understand the other three, but gambling, we can't put a bet on the horses. Some people are inclined to do. But people take it very seriously, gambling. I know when I was young, it was like my father, it was like a religious, it was a very serious moment when he would sit down. It was something called a Littlewood's pause. I don't know if any ancient folk know that, probably you won't. But it's where you tick what the scores of the football are going to be. You know, it's used to be called the Littlewood's pause. And my father would do that, or my stepfather, but he would do that every week. And it would be a religious thing. He would sit down at the table. Everyone had to be quiet, you know, and a dog would come by there, and it was like, he would sit there with a cup of coffee. He would look very grave, and he'd tick these ticks. You have to pay money, so that's the gambling. And then today also we have what's it today? It's the lottery, isn't it? Where persons it's in every shop, every corner shop. And sometimes you see old grannies, they're buying a card to fill in the lottery. You see all types of people. Someone with two kids on their arms, some all they're hoping somehow that they may be lucky. And also it's an illusion because, anyway, I'm answering the question, but also if you next time you are here in central London, there's lots of casinos, and they're kitted out in such a way that you're walking into a palace, you know, rich velvet carpets and chandeliers. It gives the illusion of richness and opulence. So you're going to go in there, and there's a chance that you can also become rich and opulent.
Well,
and it's there to create the illusion of abundance, so you spend more money. You know, the way it's kitted out. A lot of gambling casinos here in central London, you look at that. But why is it that we can't gamble? Why does it erode our religious principles?
Is it because by gambling, we are it says that if I don't know, that's what I think and what I understand. If we
Yeah.
say Kalpataru Vyasa, it's like devotees are like desire trees, but we are not looking for the opulence in this material world. We try to go to Krishna. So maybe if we gamble, it might have to happen, but it's not what we're looking for, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be sorrow in a way, and not. We are not to win anything. We are not to gain something. It's to give. So if you go and you look for something, it's like you want to achieve from the material world, where it's not your place here.
Yeah, okay, I can get the point. So you're saying that we are aspiring for something material,
Yeah.
which
Can
gambling.
we say that truthfulness is lost?
Yeah, that's the connection, isn't it? So what's the connection, Mother Sahachari? Why is it that truthfulness is lost when one gambles? What's the
Gambling is never straightforward. You have to make it look presentable, so you have to lie certain things. So
Yeah.
truthfulness is lost there.
Yeah, gambling is often, you hear these stories of persons who gamble their wife's savings away.
And
they
plus,
gamble.
you're looking for gain. You're looking for a gain in a cheap way. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
you're not looking to, and you're not looking for seeing Krishna as your maintainer, and you want to get something in a cheap way. You think, well, it's not coming via Krishna, it's coming via a kind of a cheating process where you just like buy a ticket and hope that, plus you're putting your hope in something that's, you know, almost impossible to come out in your favor. So
Yeah.
it's putting your energy into something which is more than likely not going to happen.
Yeah, that's the point which we wanted to come to, and kind of similar to Mother Mongol's point, but I think this is the main point that Mother Lavanga Latika is saying here, is that it means you're putting faith, trying to get something which may be beyond your pay grade as far as your karma goes. So you're trying to, so you're not accepting the natural course of an endowment which is there according to your karma. You're trying to, as Mother said, trying to cheat the system. But it so happens even those, even those persons who do win the lottery, for example, often their quality of life remains the same as it would have been if they hadn't have won, or it can degrade them as well. We have, what is it called? Lottery, what they used to call it, lottery fug. Oh no, it's another word, lottery, or those who become very degraded because they don't know what to do with their accumulated wealth. So sometimes they say it's the worst thing that ever happened to me is I won the lottery. All their relationships, everyone only wants to befriend them for one reason, and because they can't control their senses. Yeah. But that's the main reason, as far as I know. And the reason I was asking that question, because I'd forgot myself exactly what the connection is. So Mother Sahachari correctly said connection. Gambling, then one becomes untruthful. Yeah, and there's many accounts of persons who gamble, and they're very deceitful. Yeah, because there is some gambling where you have to be deceitful. That's part of the gamble. For instance, I think it's called, I haven't played it myself, but there's a card game called, I think it's Bridge. There's a card game, and people gamble money on it, and you get your, you get your pack of cards in your hand, that that you get dealt with, and you have to give an impression to others of what cards you're going to lay down. So you may look very worried, but really you've got all good cards in your hand, but you're being deceitful by giving the look that you don't have good cards. Anyway, I haven't played the game.
My parents used to play this.
Sorry?
Parents and sisters used to play this. I never wanted to play this game.
Yeah.
It's
But
yeah, right.
Yeah, but let's get back to Krishna before we go too far down there. So
May
Krishna,
I add something?
go on, please. Yes, Mavaluda, yes, please.
Gambling is increasing Rajaguna, and we can't practice bhakti in Rajaguna because it leads us to Tamaguna, and we can't do bhakti as well in Tamaguna. So gambling is very powerful, increasing our Rajaguna.
Yeah. Very good point. Very good point. So one wants more. So Rajagun, the symptom of Rajagun, Mavaluda's nicely pointing out, is that one is never satisfied. Yeah, that's a good point. That gambling means you don't learn to be satisfied. Yeah, so it means you're passionate. You want more. Perhaps I can get more. So then that creates a very passionate sense of being. Yeah, so very difficult to be completely dependent upon Krishna. Yeah, we have no need to gamble. Don't worry, Krishna's going to take care of us. Yeah, we don't need more money than what Krishna is providing. Well, some might complain about that, but presently Krishna is providing for me. That is good for me. If Krishna wants to give me more, it may come, but it won't be through gambling. Yeah, so I think we're more clear on that now. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, sometimes some devotees will say, let me gamble, and I give the money to Krishna.
Well,
Be careful. Yeah, there's been a lot of devotees who fell for that trap. Okay.
but I think that's Maya how it's doing. Yeah, it's always gonna find a way to say, oh, maybe I can win. There's an opportunity there, and I can give half to Krishna or something. But it's not. It's another trap.
Yeah. So anyway, it's quite clear for us. It's given there. We've heard some nice reasons here from devotees why we don't gamble, but it's quite clear we take vows on that when we accept initiation. But then there's questions about investment in the stock market and things like that. Is that gambling? Perhaps there's another conversation.
It's addiction as well.
Addiction, yeah, become addicted to it, yeah.
I know somebody in my family, she lost everything.
Really? Through gambling? Yeah.
Gambling, you get into, okay, you stay up all night trying to earn money here, there, and then you invest in those days in properties and this and that, and at the end you can't control yourself. You get into a mess.
Yeah. So an example of interesting, we have the example of Yudhisthira Maharaj, isn't it? He lost everything. He lost everything. He even lost his wife at one point. He lost his kingdom. He lost everything due to gambling. It's the whole story of history. Yeah, so no gambling, okay? Yeah. I used to keep remembering there's one point. I remember one I was doing Sankirtan with one. So the point I'm making here is that the gambling mentality can sometimes come into a devotional practice. And this devotee, he used to gamble a lot. And then he took to Krishna consciousness. And we was on Sankirtan together, traveling Sankirtan. So the spot we went to, a few months ago, he did really big in that spot. So in order to do big again, he had to wear the same trousers that he wore last time he came to that spot. And he had to eat the same breakfast. So he went through all these rituals, kind of gambling, kind of trying to cheat Krishna's mercy, the system. It was coming over from his gambling days. Because anyway, we were spending the whole reading today on gambling. Sometimes, as I said about my father, sometimes people invest some mystical hopes in it, that somehow or another, some higher realms of beings are going to endow me with the lottery ticket. So one almost does it in a religious way. As I mentioned, my father, my stepfather would do it in a religious way. So this devotee, he wanted to wear the same trousers and everything to try and get the same Sankirtan result. Of course, it didn't work, but it was a symptom of his conditioning, you know. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Let's read.
Out, isn't it? That's very hard to get rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some countries and some communities where people gamble more. I think it's there in the poorer countries. Gambling is, I don't know, but I mean, we're a poor country compared to other places, but relatively speaking, gamble is seen as their only hope. For some people, it's their only hope of becoming or getting money for sense gratification. So they will gamble, you know. Better choice for Krishna.
In Romania, they play a lot of the machines. They go and they put they sell their houses and put money in the machine, and then they play.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's avoid gambling, okay? Let's just gamble a life to Krishna and see what happens. And sure, we will not be the loser. But okay, so Krishna's the best of gamblers. He's the best cheat. No one can cheat Krishna. Yeah, Krishna is the most, what was it? Krishna is the most.
He is the gambling of cheats.
Yeah, no, he's more deceitful than any mere man.
Master cheat. He's a master cheat.
He's a what cheat?
Master cheat.
Master cheat. Yeah, he's a master cheat. Yeah. You could say sometimes devotees speak like Krishna definitely cheated us when we took up Krishna consciousness, that we didn't know what we was getting into. It's like Prabhupada was saying about that. I cheated you. You know, Prabhupada would give them such nice prashadam, and they would, you know, then the devotees would take initiation. Then they would realize how much the process is quite purifying and not always the most easy at times. Prabhupada said, yes, I have cheated you. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Krishna stole the heart and ran away with it.
Yeah. So no one can surpass Krishna in cheating. He's more deceitful than a mere man. Jai. All right, let's read text 37. Anyone like to read that? Before we
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, I think I have to no, the Sanskrit's down the bottom. Go ahead.
Vrishnam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Abhyabam Vyasa Kavinam Usana Kavi. Translation. Of the descendants of Vrsni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Usana. Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladev is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladev appeared as sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baladev or Balaram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swamsa, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called Vibhinamsa, separated expansions. Amongst the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyasa is the greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyasa is also known as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyasa also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among the Kavis, Usana, Sukracharya, was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Thus, Sukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna.
Oh, okay. All right, any comments or questions here? Anyone know what the Vibhinamsa separate? Who are the Vibhinamsa separated expansions?
Would that be like Aniruddha, Padrimya, the 4 expansions?
That's us, as far as I understand.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah. So the immediate expansions are. I think that's, if I've got the context right. Yes. So
Separated expansions.
Yes, separated expansions.
Oh, okay. Yes. Swamsa. Yeah, yes, I thought I was talking about Swamsa.
Yeah, there are also expansions called Vibhinamsa, separate expansions. I think that I'm pretty sure the word Vibhinamsa, although we're eternal, so it's quite a technical subject, but we are considered to be parts and parcels of Krishna. So the technical term is Vibhinamsa, separate expansions. We are not swamps or expansions, okay? Because they are that is actually manifestations of Krishna himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, if you want to know more about this subject, it's described in detail in Lord Chaitanya's teachings to Sanatana Goswami. All the different expansions of the Lord, all the different expansions of Shakti, of Radharani is explained, all the expansions of the expansions. I mean, some little explanation is given here, but it's quite a detailed subject. So this verse is referring to Baladev or Balaram. So he's the source of all incarnations. He's the source of Vasudeva. Okay. And anything else from here? Sukracharya, he plays a role in what pastime? Srimad Bhagavatam?
Bali.
Bali Maharaj, yeah.
Maharaj. Yeah.
He is Bali Maharaj is family guru, yeah. Shukra Acharya. Shukra means human, so it means his family guru, Sukracharya. But interesting here, he was extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. Yeah,
So how come he's seen as being like a great thinker and intelligent when actually he was worried about his own welfare when that's what he was thinking about when Bali Maharaj, when Vamanadev was asking Vamanadev Vamanadev was asking Bali Maharaj to give him 3 pieces of land. Sukracharya was worried about, he was thinking about his own welfare and trying to discourage Bali Maharaj from giving he says, like, he's going to cheat you. I mean, obviously he was intelligent enough to know he was going to be cheated, but he wasn't intelligent enough to think it was a good idea.
Yeah, so that's why it's somewhat surprising it comes up here that Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. Yeah, because he was concerned that because he was maintained by Bali Maharaj, his situation was maintained by Bali Maharaj. So if he gave everything away, then he would lose everything as well. But Bali Maharaj adhered to the highest possible religious principle, which is complete surrender to Krishna. So why is Shukracharya mentioned here? So
Bali Maharaj should have been the greatest thinker. I mean, what does it mean by thinker anyway? Is that a mundane thinker or a transcendental thinker?
I think it is in regards to Shukracharya. But I think the point here is that, for instance, Krishna has mentioned he mentioned that of animals, he's the lion. Is that right? Did I get that right? He mentions it's the most ferocious. So it seems like those opulences, even if they're possessed by persons or not unalloyed devotees, if they're great, if they have some type of material power, then that still represents Krishna, just like a lion is not necessarily a pure devotee. They're expert eating other animals. So that represents Krishna. Then we had of fish's eye and the shark that Prabhupada said. We expanded that he is a makara, a fish that swallows whales. So that's not exactly not exactly considering the devotee. Yeah, somebody's in pure devotion. So I think it's because Shukracharya, it seems obviously it's stated here, materially speaking, he was very intelligent and far-seeing. But obviously, as Mother Lavanga is pointing out, he was limited in his comprehensive understanding of what is real Dharma. But still, from one perspective, he was very intelligent and far-seeing. So you could say even contemporary speaking. Now, I say this with a bit of hesitation, but you could, for instance, you could say of those in the modern world who are wealthy, Krishna is Elon Musk. That represents Krishna. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anyhow, no.
Just because he has the opulences and has every
Yeah, because these are opulences and they come from Krishna.
but it's
So
different the
represent
opulence
Krishna.
by the person who makes whatever they do.
Yeah. Sometimes we joke with devotees that of all kirtan leaders, I am so-and-so Das. Of all Rajbhog cooks, I am Chandravali. You get the idea? Of all dresses of Krishna, I am, whoever, Of all garland makers, I am represented by, of all menial servants, I am Mother Deepika. So you could apply it within our community or in other communities there, Luda as well, in communities, those who represent a particular skill, then that represents Krishna. So we're giving some examples here, but also anyone who has any opulence, if it's great, and anyone who's any opulence, then that presents Krishna. That is indicative of the greatness of Krishna, even if it's a material opulence. Yeah, like here, Shukracharya was intelligent, extremely intelligent. Just like also extremely intelligent was and very good politician was Duryodhana. He was very, very, very shrewd and very expert, in how he dealt. He was very, very diplomatic, but in a very expert way to suit his own purposes. So that represents Krishna. You understand? It's how Krishna's vibhutis are manifested in this world. So Sukacharya, spiritual master of the demons, the fact that he was intelligent and far-seeing, so that represents the opulence of Krishna. Yeah. Does that help Mother Lavangalatika to understand that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, so in other words, Krishna empowers everyone and everything in this material world. Anyone who has any skill or any opulence. That's why devotees, we give thanks to Krishna for anything that we may do. And we pray before we do it. And we give thanks to Krishna if, by the grace of Krishna, it went okay or it came out good. Because it's Krishna. It is not us. We are not the doers. It's the opulences of Krishna which are manifesting in someone. Yeah, we used to joke as well of all book distributors, I am so-and-so Das. They represent Krishna. So there would be, if there was, this world will be void and vacant. Well, there's no such thing, but it will be void and vacant if Krishna's Shaktis and opulences was not manifest here. So those, because here in this chapter, there's many material examples have been given. Most of them are material examples. You could say here an interesting, Arjuna is in front of him, and he's speaking to Arjuna, and he's saying to Arjuna, and of all the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Wonder what Arjuna must be thinking. So this is the same principle. Of all you Pandavas, you represent me because you have the most prowess. Of all the Pandavas, I am represented by Arjuna. Yeah. That's why this chapter is very interesting. It's very good. We can learn to appreciate Krishna. Even before making it to the temple, we can take darshan of Krishna. Yeah? Just by viewing the material world, we can have darshan of Krishna in one sense. And then we come to the temple and we see the source of everything, which is Krishna. Yeah, you can give many of, anyway, I won't go into any more material examples of drunkards, I'm so-and-so, whatever. I guess it has its limits as well, especially evil persons. We don't want to attribute their evil to Krishna. Right, shall we read some more of the opulences of Krishna? Let's read text 38. Someone like to read? Or okay, let me read a verse. Dando damaya dan ashmai niti ashmi chikitsatam monam chavashmi goyanam ganam ganadvatam aham. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of all those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom. I like that one. Of secret things, I am silence. There's a purple. Let's read. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Yeah. among those trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior energies. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. All right, so quite a few things here. Yeah.
But
Troy,
to
go on.
sorry, but to discriminate between the wise man is one who can discriminate between man and spirit. But then you need to
Matter and spirit.
yeah, you need to be Krishna conscious to do that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, ultimately Krishna conscious, but there are some Gyanis who can rise to this level of achievement, but ultimately Krishna conscious, yeah. Now, what I just want to ask this, perhaps ask devotees here. Prabhupada says, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. Can someone elaborate on that? What exactly is being referred to here? The silence? Go on.
Can I answer that? Or
Please, yeah. I'm not sure.
silence means only talking about things related to spiritual life and things relevant for our spiritual growth or other people's spiritual growth. And silence means not engaging the tongue in mundane conversations or activities like that's like silence.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. When you say it, I now am thinking, oh yeah, it's quite obvious in that sense. Yeah, so it means silence is, one can make quick progress. So in other words, not speaking or restricting one's talk on what's called prajalpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so devotee is silent in regards to material subjects. Yeah.
Even if someone gets start fighting with you, you remain silent, and then you don't create any karma. You're just humble.
Yeah, you can look at it from that perspective as well. Yeah, you don't become entangled. Yeah, sometimes the best path is silence, because whatever you say, you're going to be implicated, especially if the person is in a challenging, threatening mood. If they ask you a question, best keep silent, you know. Otherwise you become entangled and have to come down to their level as well. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And there's within the Mahabharata, there's in the Shanti Parva, the teachings of grandfather Bhishma to Yudhisthira on the subject of ruling the world. There's a whole section on punishment, a whole section glorifying punishment and how it's needed to stabilize society. And it goes into so much detail, yeah, about how it's. I bring that up because in today's world, in some societies, it's kind of become a bit, okay, it's not, I'm going to say the word, it's become a bit misunderstood. It's been diluted. I'm trying to explain it. It's been, for example, someone commits murder, okay? Like, for example, a good few years ago, there was that horrific case in Sweden, was it? Or Switzerland?
Sweden.
Yeah, he went on an island where many children were having a retreat, and he shot dead 70 children. Something like that. Okay. There was no, yeah, he was the only one on that island. It was him. There was no doubt in anyone's mind, and even he admitted to it. So there was no, it was him. But what did they do with him? Or what should they have done with him according to Vedic principles of justice? Yeah, Madhuman was just, he should have been killed. But no, he's now being maintained in a prison, and the prison costs money, and the money comes from taxes of the people. So he's being maintained by the government. Yeah. And he's got rights, supposedly, in his prison. So I'm just kind of highlighting how the kind of, without following dharmic principles, or without, of course, it has to be applied as well carefully, the laws of Manu, because some of them definitely don't relate to today's day and age of laws of Manu. But Prabhupada said on more than one occasion that it's the best thing you can do for someone who murders someone is they should receive capital punishment. Then their reaction will be burned out in that one life, rather than have to accept that in the next life. So I'm just bringing that out because sometimes the boundaries are, in this age of Kali, people have such sentimental misconceptions about the applying of chastisement. And of course, sometimes chastisement is given to the wrong person to the wrong degree. So anyway, Hare Krishna.
It's interesting because it's the age of Kali, but the law is not the law of Kali.
It's the age of Kali?
The age of Kali, what I want to say when I hear this word, it says this is age of Kali, where let's say the punishment should be like Kali when you committed a crime, but it's not, it's opposite.
Yeah.
Because guy has a lot of rights and is not really punishment at all. So this is age of Kali, of destruction, but actually we treat people even better than we should in a way.
Yeah, so we don't, so in other words, people don't become fearful of committing that same crime because the punishment is very lax. For instance, if someone kills someone, they get imprisoned for a lifetime. But life sentence means 15 to 20 years. That's what life sentence means in most places. Like, it doesn't mean for life. It doesn't mean, well, in most cases. Life sentence mean they will get 20 years in prison. Then they'll be released, you know? So anyway, going on a bit of a social banter here.
Like they can get away here in this material world, but they can't get away in the higher court.
Yeah, very good point, Margasirsa. Yeah, so they may get a certain punishment on the material perspective, but actually they won't get away from the punishment from Yamaraj. Yeah, from the universal law of justice. Yeah, which is known as karma. No one escapes. You know. Very interesting here. Let's just again. Of all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment. Yeah, and of those, yes, so Krishna is that punishment. All right. Hare Krishna. So let's pause there. Sorry, we went into a bit of material examples today, but these examples coming from the material platform, and anything that's has any greatness or any grandeur, no matter where it's coming from, that is representative of Krishna. So even Shukracharya represents Krishna, gambling represents Krishna, etc. All right, Hare Krishna. So let's pick it up next Tuesday on text 39. Just have to keep note of that, okay? So thank you very much, everyone, for giving us an opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita for this hour. Very nice. Thank you so much. And for those who are taking part in our Bhagavatam readings, please, you're welcome to join us tomorrow. Yeah. Again, the same time. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Gita ki jai.
Jai Modi Prabhu.
Hare Marande, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Bol.